All right, Lynn, you get the MVP of the day so far.
So Diane, how come you're already there?
Because I used the last link.
Sorry, this is
Hi, Angela. Hi,
It's a
Emily.
it's a plot, Dory.
yeah, it's getting more confusing every week.
We've only
It
used
is.
like there's only like two different links out there, so it's generally one or the other. It's I had to switch from Freddy's because he was worried about his account losing access or something.
You just want us to hunt, don't you, Nick?
What's
That's what
that?
it is. You want us to really work hard to try and get into it.
Yeah,
I
you
only work with people who are willing to jump through hoops to be on the call.
yeah,
Exactly.
you like to be chased, right?
Maybe this is some unconscious pattern you're
I think
revealing.
I think you know what? If people can't get on, I think they just start freaking out, so they don't even think clearly. They'll be like, "Oh my God, I want to get on the call and I can't get on the call," and they don't even know what to do, where to go.
Well, that's
Scarcity
right.
and
That's the
urgency.
trouble.
It's
Scarcity
a
and
co-
urgency.
it's a confusion interrupt.
Right.
Now you're all
Yeah.
confused and you're feeling urgent and needy, and I got you exactly where I want you.
Oh my
I thought I
God.
did something wrong. I was like, oh no, what did I do wrong? And I'm scrambling. I'm like, ah.
You're gonna drive up the price, right?
This is actually a great metaphor for life. Like if you get frustrated at this, where else in your life do you get frustrated? If you get resourceful in this, where else in your life do you get resourceful?
What if you do both? I was both frustrated and resourceful.
Oh, well, there you go.
We are learning a lot about ourselves and we haven't even started the call yet. All right, we got people coming in still, so we'll give it another minute. Did we do advanced storytelling last week?
Yeah, we did.
We did that last week. Gosh, it seems like so long ago. I had a great time on that call. Did everyone find that useful in some ways?
Yeah, really good.
Good. Good.
You know what would be helpful? Some kind of like PDFs or something, because sometimes you're like listening to things like that, but if it would be just PDF with like some scripts or, just something like summaries of stuff would be awesome.
So I turned the two storytelling calls and I'm gonna add, we're gonna have another storytelling module. So those three are gonna be their own course. And generally when I kind of make those their own sub courses, I'll do a little PDF or workbook
Oh,
or something that goes with
awesome.
it. So I can do that for sure.
Awesome.
Natalia, welcome.
Hi,
How's
thank
today?
you. Sorry, I don't know why the Zoom link was asking me for a passcode. I was like,
I know that's my bad. Oh, I see you just commented. You
yeah,
got
no,
in, so.
unfortunately, I saw the comment from someone else and I saw the answer, clicked on that link, and then I made it. I
And
made it.
Angela, you were
You
the one
love to be
commenting your name,
bad,
right?
right? You love to be bad, right?
All right, give it one more minute here. We'll make sure we have everybody on. I think we're gonna have a fun call today.
So what's it like for you to having to handle all of this by yourself?
Oh, it's not bad. I mean, I do most of the back end stuff anyway. Obviously not that well. It's not what I specialize in.
Don't
just-
put it to the vote, Nick.
I just want to show up and teach. Like I just want to plan curriculum and show up and hang out with all of you. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We'll have somebody in place before long. Carmen's on. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Maria. All right. So today I think we can go ahead and get started. So I have been reading some, I've been reading a book called The Genie in Your Genes, which talks about epigenetics and quantum, I guess you would call it quantum healing, accessing the quantum field and how some of that works. And it talks about a lot of the different research and different studies that prove some different quantum theories and how we can use our minds and our emotions to tap into the quantum field. And then I've also been kind of revisiting some esoteric principles from a guy named William Donahue, who talks a lot about Christian mysticism, and he talks about different symbolisms in the Bible. And I'm kind of wanting to tie in those two concepts today. And Blaine mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've been to a couple of his events as well. So you will definitely see a lot of the principles that he talks about in here. So I've got a little bit of a rough outline. We'll touch on some principles, and then I'm not a quantum physics teacher, so I want to teach you some principles, but I really want to have it be experiential. And you'll see that a lot of what we do every week are these principles, and a lot of stuff you do as coaches or hypnotherapists tie into these principles as well. So before we start, does anyone have any wins that they want to go over, or any questions or intentions for the topic tonight?
No.
Oh, sorry. Someone else wanted to talk.
Go ahead, Natalia.
I did, now that you're talking about Joe Dispenza, for the first time I did his walking meditation today. There is a canal around my apartment, and when I did it there, it's so powerful. It's so like, wow. I tried to do some of his meditations many years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and for some reason I felt that his voice was making me agitated instead of like calming me down. But last weekend I was with a friend, and she's like, I'm doing this meditation, you gotta try it. I was like, okay. She said, you're gonna feel weird because you have to stop and close your eyes and people are gonna be around you, but doesn't matter. And I finally did it today, earlier today, and it was at sunset, and it was like, boom.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I have a walking meditation, I think in the Metamorphosis program. But yeah, he's got some good ones. I do his once or twice a week. I do a couple a week. And we'll talk about kind of why those work and what he's doing for sure. Anybody else? Diana, were you saying something?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's get into, I guess the foundation of this is, Doreen. Yes.
So I know that there was the American monk, what's his name? Bert Goldman. And he was really into the quantum jumping, and he was really good at it as well. Have you heard of him?
No.
But he was in the original training from what's his name? I've completely lost it now. You know, the alpha training from Silvers.
The Silva mind control method?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of his trainers, and he was also a hypnotist.
You said
yeah.
Bert Goldman?
Bert Goldman, yeah.
Okay.
There's some wild videos from him. Well, I think Mind Valley has taken them down, most of them. But yeah, he's got some wild. He did some wild quantum jumping. I mean, he made himself a writer. He could play piano. He could sing.
Okay.
And
I think I know who you're talking about.
He was more than 80 years old. You know, just like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of that's possible. And we hear about people who have like concussions or moments of enlightenment or something, and all of a sudden they can speak another language or play an instrument. And I think all of that is in the field around us. And so I guess the mechanics of this are, there's a field of infinite potential. And in my email, if you guys read that, the Bible, it calls it the void in the beginning, right? Before things are created. This is the world of spirit that holds all the frequencies of potential that can form into matter. Joe Dispenza talks about it. Wallace Wattles talks about it as the ether. Neville Goddard talks about it. And so this is like, I mean, basically all esoteric traditions, if you've ever read Lao Tzu or that he calls it the Tao. And this is this field, and I think it's like the feminine aspect of the divine. It's this field that holds all potentials. And when a mind, the masculine aspect, impresses upon this field and it focuses on it in a specific way, then that field slows the vibration down and brings that into the physical. And I think the biblical creation story of Adam and Eve is that there's this feminine principle that creates. I think that story is a little bit maybe backwards in some ways, but we have physical matter brought forth from the spirit realm. And so this is what we're doing, is we're going to use our mind and our body to access that field of infinite potential and to collapse a wave into a particle. And so there's lots of quantum physics experiments where they see how photons behave when they're shot through certain stimulus, and when they're observed, when somebody's watching them, they tend to collapse from a wave into a particle. They're made manifest. And so we know that electrons can disappear and reappear. And so what they're doing is they're going into this field of potential and then coming out again. And our intentions and how we observe and expect things to happen tend to influence the way that those electrons behave. You can't have an experiment, you can't conduct an experiment, and your intentions and observation of it not influence the experiment. Your observations and your intentions and expectations are part of the experiment. And this is because our intentions shape the quantum field and they shape what gets created. And so we're going to do that with our minds. And this is kind of what we do every week in some way, but we'll get a little more specific into it. I see Lynn's got her hand up. Let's go to you, Lynn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got a bit of a crisis. I've left my battery charger, my charger for my computer at work, and it's going to just cut out. So I'll probably disappear. I'm going to try my iPad, see if I can get back on. I'm so fascinated by this quantum theory and what you're talking about. And have you heard about the little strings now that they're talking about? Yeah, absolutely fascinating. But it's going to just cut off any moment. So
Lynn is going to act like an electron and disappear into the quantum field in just a moment, and then maybe reappear in a few moments. It's going to be.
I'll leave my computer on and I'll go and try and get on.
It's going to be quite miraculous. And then we also know that when you take two photons and they interact with each other, they become entangled. And so now you can put those photons on the opposite ends of the universe and move one of them, and the other one will move in tandem, right? We call this rapport. When you get into rapport with somebody, you can move in a certain way and they will match and mirror you. And so if you think about how all of this was created, if you believe in, the Big Bang or whatever you want to call that, in the beginning, all things were compressed from this field, and mind brought them into an expanding universe. And so because they were all compressed and they're all from the same source, everything is entangled, everything is connected. And this is why when you have an intention, when you visualize something, all of the matter, all of the particles in the universe start to move that thing in your direction. And we're going to talk about the specific strategies today that strengthen that and make that work. Because how many of you know someone who is like an absolute force of nature? When they intend to do something, they like all of the people they need, all of the resources they need, like everything just kind of shows up in their life. And it's because they're using their mind in a certain way to tap into that field. And then the field communicates to all other physical matter to bring it to that person. And so that's what we're going to get into, some of those strategies today. Sarah, I see your hand up. We'd love to hear from you.
Hi. So I'm kind of blown away that this is a topic today, because I had a client earlier, a couple hours ago, and he and I were talking about we just got on the topic of spirituality and we kind of went into the rabbit hole. And he was saying, what's been happening lately is he said, I'll think about like something I have in my calendar that I don't want to do. And then that person will text me and say, you know what, I have to reschedule. And I was like, yeah, that's been happening for me too. And we were just kind of like blown away. And I'm like, so this is kind of like a universal thing. I feel like we're getting closer and closer to connecting with each other in different ways. And I feel like the next few decades are really going to bring humanity into this different place of connection and spirituality. And I think it's going to be grounded spirituality, but this ability to just really tap into the conscious field and tap into each other's thoughts. And I don't know, like, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm so passionate about this. I'm so excited about this because I think there's so much potential to really shift the world and to really for us to really get on the same wavelength as a humanity also.
Even as you say, the same wavelength, right? Like that's a quantum physics, like resonance. Absolutely. And I think for me, I don't know that it's so much about as humanity, we're moving in that direction, because I think there's always people that are at lower, we'll call it more primitive consciousness, and people that are more evolved. And as you become more evolved, which is what's happening, you're going to perceive that everyone else is having the same experience as you, because that's on the wavelength that you're resonating. And you'll start to have more of these conversations and like more synchronicities and more things like that. And it's it's something that's going to keep showing up for you, and you're just going to keep refining that skill, and you'll become more and more of a pure vessel and keep having more and more of those experiences.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, good.
Thanks for bringing up this topic today.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. I got people still logging in here. So yes, Natalia.
This is probably not the most pleasant example, but on the weekend, I went to Dubai to receive a public speaking training. And with the trainer, we were talking over a coffee about Andrew Tate. I don't know if everyone knows who Andrew Tate is. And we were talking more from the side of like, okay, he's still a human, and there must be horrible to have all those cases on you and court, and how you wanted to be famous for whatever is your message, and then ending up being famous for all these horrible cases and accusations, whether they are real or not, on the mistakes that you have made and all that. We finished the training, and around 8, I met a friend, and we went to a rooftop to have like I don't drink, but she was having a glass of wine and stuff. And you won't believe this, but there was a group of men that walked in, and it was Andrew Tate and his brother just sat in front of us. And I was like, you won't believe this, but I was talking about him today. It's like if the body, no, but the mind senses things beforehand. There was no reason why I didn't even remember why the subject came and why we were talking about that over a coffee. And then, I mean, I did something that I shouldn't have done, which was taking a picture that I cannot send to anyone, but I did send it to my trainer and friend, and I told him, you remember our conversation today? And he said, what was it about Andrew Tate? And he said, yes. And I sent him the picture, and I said, him and his brother are sitting in the table in front of us. He was like,
so funny.
No way.
I think we can not only create from the field, but we can also sense from the field what's coming, because time is really how we perceive it. And I don't even really understand this, because it's kind of beyond our human brain's capacity in some ways. We perceive time as linearly, but it's not really linear. And so, I mean, I'm sure all of us have had that moment of like, oh, I'm like thinking about my mom, and then a second later, like my phone rings and my mom's calling, right? Like we've all had that. And so that's just because we're all connected to this field. And as we practice putting information into it and extracting information from it, we just get better and better at having these experiences. And so, yeah, Natalia, that's a pretty cool experience. I mean, last week during the advanced storytelling, I went over a bunch of examples, and I had a bunch more about things like that happening to me as well. So we'll get into the strategies about how to make that happen even more often. Before we do, Doreen, did you have a question?
Yeah, I also want to say something about synchronicities that, I was talking with this guy about synchronicities, and then we had some synchronicities in between us, and it was just like, this is just weird. But yeah, and you talk about this one vibration or just before, and it's just the one verse, right? The universe. And yeah, I think that's really cool. And sometimes I can manifest things really fast, and I'm just like, okay, how did this happen? And sometimes I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? You know?
Sometimes it's something you want to manifest, and sometimes it's something you don't, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So for those of you who are just tuning in, we are about to we've started to dive into some quantum physics principles, and we're getting into the fact that there is a field all around us. We're like fish that are swimming in this field of infinite potential, which holds all vibrations. And with our mind, with our thoughts, with our bodies, we can change our vibrations to tune in to different experiences, to different identities, to different emotions. And even, I was talking about the book I'm reading, the Genie in Your Genes talks about how the cells are actually built like computer chips, and there's proteins on the outside of them which pick up on frequencies, and different frequencies signal those cells inside the cells to change our genetic expression. So this is epigenetics. So as you have thoughts of stress and illness, you are sending a frequency, or your cells are tuning into that frequency, which is then turning on or off different genetic expression. And so we are in more control than we like to admit a lot of times, right? It's easy to blame the president. It's easy to blame something outside of ourselves and not take responsibility for the state that we're in. So we're going to go over some strategies for that today. So the first thing I want to talk about is the observer effect. So as you observe things, you influence them. And it's not a state of doing, right? Like in this physical realm, we do things, we take action. But when we go into our minds, into the field, there's no doing. As we try to do, we get pretty much locked out of it. And it's a state of allowing and pure observation. And this is pretty much what we do in hypnosis with people. We tune somebody's focus into having the experience like it's happening to them. Like I'll say, what would you like to have happen? Observe yourself, experience like you're the observer of your body carrying out this performance, right? It's allowing that experience to flow through somebody like they're the observer of it. And so we go into these meditations or these visualizations with the intention not to like force our will onto it, but just to become a simple, passive observer. That way, what's in our imagination, what we perceive inside, becomes more real than what's on the outside, than what our five senses are telling us. And when what's on the inside is more real than what's on the outside, that's when we imprint and we impress upon that field. And then, of course, we have to surrender how that thing comes to us. We have to let it go and allow. And too many people get caught up in having attachments with how that thing is going to come to them, and they keep efforting and they keep trying, and they block the field from manifesting in their lives. And if you remember the story structure we talked about, there's a moment in the story structure of surrender. And when you surrender, that thing just kind of shows up. The epiphany comes to you. The thing that you want shows up. Does everyone know what I'm talking about here? So I was in this real estate group, and there was this guy who was like, he was making all the calls, he was spending money, he was doing all the things on marketing. And he was like, man, I just like, these deals just aren't coming together. And one week he was like, you know what? I'm done. Like, this just isn't working for me. I quit. Well, of course, right after he said that, this guy that he had talked to months ago called him and was like, hey man, I want to do this deal. So the deal went through. Then he was like, all right, I'm back in the game. Like I made, I don't know, he made $20,000 or something. He's like, I'm back in the game. So he starts marketing, he's doing all the things, and he goes for months like this, and he can't get a deal. Like, he can't bring a deal to the finish line. So he's like, oh man, this just isn't for me. I quit. Right after that, somebody gives him a call and says, like, hey, you know, I'm right, like, I want to do this deal. So of course this guy gets the deal and he sells that deal. It was his over efforting and his attachment to the outcome that prevented that thing from coming forth from the field. I'm sure none of you have ever experienced that, where you're like trying so hard to get that thing that you block it, right? This is why in hypnosis we use the word try. Everybody's hands going up. We say, you know, like when you try and you effort, that's the conscious mind interfering with the unconscious or universal processes in some ways. And so when we want to step into the quantum, what we're going to do is we're going to dissolve our five senses. We're going to dissolve our personality. We're going to dissolve our preferences. We're going to dissolve our emotions. And as Joe Dispenza talks about, we're going to become nothing. We're going to be in that field where we're nothing but potential. And when you're nothing but potential, then as you focus your mind, then you start to collapse waves of potential into particles, which bring them into physical existence. Am I making sense to everybody? Any questions on that? Natalia asks, is the field unconscious? It is, so Neville Goddard calls it unconditioned awareness. And what he
So what I meant is the field, the unconscious, the collective unconscious or the unconscious mind is the same.
I think the collective unconscious exists in this field. But it's like a radio station, right? Like around you right now are classical music stations, rock and roll stations, country music stations, opera, talk radio, but you can't perceive any of these because your antenna isn't tuned into them. But they all exist all at the same time. So when you tune your radio into a classical station, that country music station is still there. You just can't hear it at that moment. So the field is what contains all of those different frequencies all at the same time. And with our intention and our focus, then we tune into them. But what we want to do first is we want to let go of the frequency or the station that we're already at. And so the best way to do that is to become thoughtless. So no thought. So this is what meditation is. We observe our thoughts. We start to separate ourselves from them. You know, we'll sit in meditation, a thought will come up, I got to do the dishes. We go, oh, I don't actually have to do the dishes. That's not me. That's just a thought. And we can let that thought pass. Oh, remember in third grade when you really embarrassed yourself? Oh, that's interesting that thought is coming up. We observe that thought. We don't take it in, and we let that thought pass. And as we start letting thoughts out, our channel becomes more empty and more pure, and we can then tap into that field easier. And when Freddie and I talked about creativity, like how to pull creative ideas from the field, it's part of this process. It's clearing out those thoughts and then getting really clear on what you want to create, going into the field with that. And then when you come back into the body, you bring that information with you. Like when I wanted to do the advanced storytelling, I basically close my eyes and I imagine speaking to all of you, having those interactions, hearing what feedback you're gonna give me, and then the layout, it unfolds before me. And I do this with all my talks. If I'm writing, if I'm doing any kind of like an athletic performance, I'll just meditate for a moment, go into the field, see it happening, but not like I'm acting on it, like it's acting on me. And then I come out and allow the subconscious to do its work. Everybody's familiar with this? Or is this brand new to some people? All right, so here's where you become really powerful, is when you get crystal clear on the thing you want to create from the field. Because if you're like, oh, I want a new vehicle, you may or may not get one. It may or may not be something you like. But when you're very specific about the model and the color, and you go in and you imagine having that experience of driving that vehicle, then the field knows exactly what to bring to you. If you're clear about your partner or your income or your capabilities or the emotions you want to experience, and you bring them with very clear specificity into the field, it knows how to deliver that. And what happens is people that have those clear outcomes for the businesses they want to build, for the people they want to become, they attract people with less clarity and less certainty. Have you ever been influenced by someone who was crystal clear on what they wanted to create and what they wanted to do, and you were like, I don't know why, but like I feel drawn to help this person in their mission? And sometimes you even do it for free, don't you? Just because they're like someone you want to be around and inspired by. So if you're that person who gets that crystal clear, that clarity, and you have certainty about it, and you've stepped into your imagination to see it happening, when you come out of the field, the people that you need in your life to help you make that happen, they just tend to show up because we're all entangled. It's like you're taking a thought and placing it into their minds. And those people will be drawn to help you. Sarah, you're shaking your head yes. Natalia?
I have to share, this is just crazy. Like, I'm mind blown. The same client that I talked to today, he's a real estate investor. He's also a hypnotist himself, and he's been a coach. And so he's paying me for sessions, and he's like, but I want to help you. And he's like, so even after this continues, like, I want to help you. Like, we can continue just chatting. You can continue helping me, and I want to help you scale your business. And I'm like, really? He just like came out of nowhere. He found me. He saw one of my videos and then Googled me and found me that way and called me. And this was a week ago. And that was the turning point for my business. And then everything started flooding in. But I got really clear and really laser focused. And I've been putting all my energy on my business. And suddenly it's like effortless. I have a waiting list. I'm like, well, how did this happen? It just happened like seemingly overnight. But I know it's because I've been doing the work and really just getting focused on not what I don't want, and getting out of any fears or imposter syndrome or fears about talking about money. I'm past that. And now it's just, this is what I'm going to create. And all the right people are just stepping in. It's the most incredible experience I've ever had, I think, in my life.
It's great. And you look like you're like, it's in your energy field. Like you can see the difference in you.
It's
That's
crazy.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's totally possible for anybody.
And you can condition anything in any experience you want. Like you can draw that forth from the field. It's just your imagination. Like this is the power of imagination. And like that's our divine skill, is the power to go into that state of prayer or meditation or manifestation with clarity, and to observe it without, and this is the key, is like to focus on it so much that there's no other thought that enters your mind. And I think this is why faith is really just focus. And what is hypnosis if not focus? So as you have this idea of the thing you want, right? You focus on it, maybe you start to feel it, and then a doubt creeps in and you see the opposite thing. You see yourself failing miserably and embarrassing yourself. And so now you get to decide, like, do I entertain that thought? Do I turn my head and shift that focus? Or do I just say, oh, I'm just gonna ignore that and let it drift away and bring my focus back to the thing I want? Then that thought of failure comes up again, and you're just constantly shifting the focus until that becomes your conditioned awareness. That's the only thing that you're aware of. Like Sarah, you're in a state now where the idea of not having clients, besides me just mentioning it, like doesn't even enter your mind, right? Like,
No.
But a month ago, that you were probably balancing back and forth between like no clients, lots of clients. And
I was.
And how many of you have been in that state where you're like back and forth between like, oh, I'm actually really good and really skilled at what I do, and nobody likes me. And like, as you focus into them, you can feel it, and you attract people and you close a sale, And then for a moment, your focus shifts back to not being, not being good or low self-esteem. And in that moment of shifting, then that client you had in this other moment calls you and is like, I don't think it's going to work out. Right? Like moment to moment, we are manifesting as we focus. And so this is really like, how do we condition that state in so that as we move through the world, it's just who we are? Does this make sense, everybody? All right, so we have to overcome our 5 senses. I think many of you probably heard me talk about this. Like, I think Jesus, not to get religious, but I think what he would do is see somebody and he would only see their potential as healed. Like in his mind, I don't think he could even hold the thought of illness. And I think Freddie does this too when he's hypnotizing people, is he only holds that thought of this person as healed and well. And it would serve all of you to rehearse ahead of time before you see a client, them giving you the feedback and having the results that you want, because you want to condition that experience into your own awareness where you see them as healed, where you see them as well and succeeding and getting the results that they want. And I mean, hypnosis is really like a reflection of the hypnotist's beliefs. How many of you have gone into a session feeling good and you get a good result, or you go into a session and you have doubts and that person reflects the doubts right back to you, right? Like if you like when I've gone into just some of the conversational hypnosis stuff I've done, I really don't even care if it works. I'm like, I just expect it to work, and it like works. And sometimes when I care too much or I try too hard or I have doubts, someone's like they don't get hypnotized. And I'm like, it's not because of my lack of skills. It's because in that moment, I'm not expecting it to work. They feel that. And so I'm manifesting that experience for them. Does everyone know like that feedback loop between us and our clients? We can all feel that, right? Okay. All right. So we have to overcome our 5 senses. We have to overcome the physical apparatus that we're in a way. So we don't want to reject it or resist it, but we almost experience a dissolving of it. The personality that we have, the desires we have, we experience a dissolving of those. And all we're going to focus on is purely observing the experience that we want to have, not acting on it, not doing anything, not questioning how, but purely observing it. And in observing it, we're taking that waveform, collapsing it into electrons that will manifest not at a date of your choosing. Unfortunately, that's part of the fun. And then seeing when that shows up for you in a synchronous way. Okay, so I think we're covering most of the stuff. We talked about faith. Faith is just focus. It's all frequency. Your cells have proteins that turn into frequency. And we start with no thought. So the ultimate like surrender, before we get into some work here, the ultimate surrender is to stop thinking, right? Like we talked about releasing attachment, releasing worry. Like it's really hard. Like, I don't want to give you a suggestion here, but it's hard to stop worrying, isn't it? Like you try to overcome it, but the more you're like, no, I got this. Like you just start this internal battle of these two things going at it. Instead, the real way of surrender of, if you want to say, give it to God, is to stop thinking altogether. Because I know it's easy to go into meditation and like visualize what you want to create and think about all the steps to get there and go over it and over it in your head. But ultimately, at some point, you have to give up. And I don't mean give up as in quit, but give up as in not have any thoughts at all about it. That's when you truly have released that into the field. It's like when you write a letter and you have that letter in your hand and you go out to your mailbox and the postman just happens to be there at the same time, and you go to hand him the letter and it's in your hand and he goes to take it from your hand, but you hold on to it and he like tries to pull it away, but you just hold on tighter, and he like is trying to take it to deliver it to the person you want, but you're just clinging to it. That letter never gets delivered. right? You have to let go of that letter. And the way to do that is to let go of any thoughts about it at all. I know, like, I'm guilty of this, where I focus on an idea and I like ruminate on it and I'm making it happen. But at some point, the thought altogether has to be released. So this is kind of the framework, and then we'll start doing some work based on these few principles. Does that sound good? I see Lynn's got her hand up. Hi, Lynn.
Hi. I don't know how to turn my camera on. I can see you anyway. The thoughts aren't the problem. It's the thinking about the thoughts. What do you think? The thoughts you can let go of, but when you start thinking about a particular thought, that's where.
But isn't that thinking about a thought in itself, which you've already said you can let go of?
Let go of your thoughts. It's the thinking that's the problem. If you can let them go.
So a thought is a noun, right? Like it's thinking frozen in time.
Thinking is a verb.
Thinking is a verb. So what if you take that thinking and you put it into a thought and you just let that thought drift away?
Nominalization of the, yeah.
So, and this isn't like, this is the process. I'm not saying this is like a one and done. There's a few physiological tricks I'll help you learn, but this is the process. Like, I sit in meditation and sometimes, like, I just have this chatter. I mean, I'm sure we all do, right? But the process is finding more and more dissociation from those thoughts and even from thinking, and being okay with them and not judging them and observing them. And this is why if you remember, I did the open focus meditation, like that we did a week on that, where we're focusing into space. As you focus into the feelings of space and you open your awareness, the thinking and the thoughts will dramatically slow. And the other thing I do often is I have you relax your tongue. So if your tongue is tense and tight, your left hemisphere of your brain is activated and it's active. And so that's where like more thinking comes from. So if we can relax the tongue, feel into space and feel like we're dissolving into that space, then we're almost having the experience of dissolving into that quantum field, getting into rapport with that quantum field. Does this help a little? Did I lose you, Lynn?
Yes. No. Yeah, it's all right. I was just writing some bits down.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
I know as I'm explaining it, it's a little like cerebral, but as we experience it, I think all of you will understand, oh, that's the difference. And essentially this is what we did in the open focus meditations. If you remember, everybody saying they went so deep on that because we were just focusing into space. So I'll do some cues here. We can do some exercises and start to play with tapping into the quantum field if everybody wants to try that out. Let me see if there's any questions here.
Okay,
Scott says the world.
Nick, what I did the last weeks, because I have a very clear path of where I want to go, and I always use or something better, and this releases detachment instantly. And now it's crazy what actually happened, because if you say something better, like, I haven't thought about the stuff that is happening now, and even if it's not coming through, I know it's like way closer to the way I want to go. But if you say something better, because most of the stuff, like what's happening now, I couldn't even have made this up, but it opens the field way wider. And even then you don't ruminate on any negative things, because you always know, okay, at least my version is coming true, or something better. So that it's insane.
So yeah, or something better. And also, if like it's an income or a number of clients or something you want to experience, you could say, or more, right? Like, I want this many subscribers or more. And so it's the same thing. Yeah, or something better. So the problem with some of these is their language. And when we're going into the field, we're not using, language often. Like there's a weird, like, as you start to use language in the left hemisphere, you almost come back into physical existence. And so, I mean, how many of you have experienced when you're in hypnosis, it's difficult to speak or you don't really want to speak, right? Like you're a blank slate in a way for somebody to guide you into an experience. And so, yeah, so there's an interesting thing with language and going into the field and maintaining that clarity. Anyway, all right, so let's do some experiments here. Everybody feeling good? Any other questions? Thank you, Jasmine, for that. That's a good reminder. All right, let's play. So let's just go into the experience and then with no intentions here. So if everybody wants to get comfortable, take a deep breath into your belly through your nose. Hold it for a moment. And let out a big sigh. You have to make noise because we're activating our internal instruments here. So deep breath in. And really let it vibrate on the way out. All the way out. Deep breath in. Just feeling the space inside your body as you breathe in. With a big sigh, exhale. You may find the urge to yawn or to get situated as you begin to relax even more. Knowing that you are perfectly safe and in perfect control, and that this process of letting go is what will set you free. And become aware of your tongue and all of the little muscles in your tongue relaxing completely. Feel the space inside your tongue, your mouth, your teeth. Feeling all of those muscles around your eyes relax so much that they just don't want to work. Feeling your eyes getting heavier and more relaxed. Noticing that while you hold that level of relaxation, your eyes just won't open. And the harder you try to open them, the more relaxed you become. Letting that relaxation roll through you like a wave, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And as you scan your entire body, become aware that your body is just a mass of spinning atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, moving at an incredible rate, surrounded and filled with space. And that divine intelligence impressed upon the field of infinite potential has brought those atoms into existence, directed by your own consciousness. And see how many of those atoms you can become aware of at one time. Can you become aware of the atoms in your fingernails? the atoms on your elbows, around your ears, the atoms that fill your heart. And I wonder if you can become aware of the atoms that surround you. The frequencies that surround your body. Like an antenna surrounded by radio waves, or like a fish that is swimming in water and doesn't even notice that it's in water. Knowing that all around you, your antenna of your mind and your body can tune into a field of infinite potential. And take a moment and imagine the atoms that fill the body dissolving into that field. Letting go for just a moment of any desires, letting go of the need to do anything, letting go of thought, emotions, identity. And I wonder how much you can completely let go into infinite space. Feeling your consciousness swimming in a sea of frequency. And direct your consciousness into unconditioned awareness to the frequency of joy. Find a joyful thought, a joyful memory, and set the intention to tune your entire being, every cell, every molecule, into resonance, into rapport with the frequency of joy. And notice what you see, what you feel, and if there were sounds that tune you into joy, what would those sounds be like? If there was a flavor or a taste or a smell that brought you into pure, unconditional joy. And imagine every cell, every molecule, and even the little proteins on the outside of your cells tuning into that frequency. Holding that thought with such focus, allowing that experience and that emotion to flow through you. And notice that it takes no effort for you to tune into the frequency of joy. And as you feel that frequency growing stronger and locking into every cell, you may already know that your immune system is getting stronger. You're getting more energy. Your body is producing the neuropeptides and the chemicals that you need to perform even better. Like an internal pharmacy that is manifesting from your thoughts and your frequency. And once that feeling of joy has stabilized in every cell, in every molecule, in every atom of your being, only then will your eyes open and you'll come back into this Zoom to discuss and have another experience. Only when every cell in your body is locked into that, tuned into that frequency, when you feel it in every part of your being and your energy field, only then will your eyes open, ready to share your experience. All right. People still coming back? Looked like some of you had a good experience there. Diana was in another dimension for a while, which is to be expected. All right, so we'll do another one after this, but I want to know who wants to share. Who had a good experience that they want to share? Lynn.
Yeah, I can't get myself on camera. I don't know how to. That was absolutely amazing. Really, really was. I loved the spacing, and my whole body by the end was all, on fire, really.
Did that help you get over the thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the thoughts are, no thoughts at all. Just really there. It was a really good experience. I missed some of the stuff on quantum physics earlier, so I've got to go back and have a good watch of the replay, but that was incredible.
Good.
Really,
I'm glad you had a good
really
experience.
excellent. Thank you.
Good. Who else wants to share? Doreen?
Yeah, well, I noticed that I did have some thoughts that took me away a couple of times. And then I lost the thread of the whole thing. But yeah, still I did feel the cell thing, and but I got lost a few times.
That's okay. That's all right. No problem. When you say you got lost, does that mean like thoughts were taking you away, or you just don't remember, or what does lost mean?
Yeah, that I followed a thread of thoughts. They were going somewhere. And then I thought, this is not what it's about, so can I find the thread again? Yeah. But yeah, also lost moments that I don't recall what happened there. Didn't hear you either.
Good.
Or the thought what you said, it's not there.
Okay. So this is not unusual, and this isn't failing, because we deal with thoughts. Like, that's the nature of this mechanism that we have, is thoughts and worries and stuff. They want to keep coming back, and we have to keep at this process of observing the thoughts, letting them go. And because each time we do that brings us back into the present. And it's only in the present that we have all of the resources that we need to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. And every time we have a thought that takes us into the future, takes us into the past, we miss the thing that's right in front of us, right? And if you're a hypnotist, there's a property called utilization, which I was just thinking about for myself the other day, today actually. as a client presents something to us or as something in the external world is presented to us, we want to utilize that in the hypnosis process, right? Like if a car drives by, imagine your worries driving away with that car. Like we want to integrate these things. As Blaine was yawning, I commented it may cause you to want to yawn. Like we want to utilize those things, but it's only in the present moment that we have the spontaneity to utilize what the universe gives us in that moment without judgment, right? Because often we think we want, like we have this idea about the way it needs to come to us, and that thought about the future takes us out of the moment, and we can't utilize the resources in the moment. And so as we continue to let go of thoughts, we continue to come back to the moment where the resources and the inspiration and the creativity lives for us. It's all only ever right here. Is everybody on board with that? Carmen, I knew you had a comment, like I could just sense it.
Yeah, so talk about synchronicities and, you know, tuning in. Exactly what you're covering today is something I've been asking more and more of. I've been doing some of the, well, not some, a lot of the Joe Dispenza's meditations, and also I spend a couple of hours most days doing Sahaja Yoga meditation with an online group. And I've been trying to get that thoughtless awareness, you know, where that mind awake, body asleep, and you're not even aware of it. And what I wanted to share with you is that what you've done here today has, I mean, I felt like I was there 85–90% of the time, which is a huge, huge difference, you know. So thank you. That's what I wanted to share. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
So do you go there with the other meditations too?
Yes, the other meditations, that's the goal of it. Yes. And I do go there, but I have an issue where I'll get there, and even something as simple as when I inhale, I can really get there, but the minute I exhale, I lose it. That didn't happen for me today with your, you know, how you've guided us through that. And a lot of the information, I have to go back and re-listen to it. But there were very specific things you said that really helped things click for me. So thank you.
Good. And you know how to solve that? Just only inhale and you'll be fine. Boy, that was a really easy solution. If you only ever inhale, you will just be there all the time. Maybe that's the key to enlightenment. Just keep inhaling.
Inhaling. Well, what's the problem today with you? So, and I have been asking, you know, that's what I've been asking for, because, you know, like I'm doing Blessing of the Energy Centers with Joe Dispenza, and you know, you want to at the end there, you know, envision what you want to fall away and what you want, and it's really been this thoughtless awareness. You call it something else, but it's the same thing. So yeah.
Well, look, you manifested this from the quantum field. We are all
Yes, I did.
only here because of you.
That's right. I did. I manifested.
It's pretty cool. And I do the Blessing of the Energy Centers as well. And the more you do these, the more you can tap into the energy field around you. So how many of you, like when I was doing this with you, because I'm really just trying to give you the experience that I have, like how many of you right now can just think about the energy field around your body and start to feel into it? It's almost like the atoms and molecules of your body seem to like spread out in a way. Does that make sense? Where like you can, like I can really strongly, like I can take my finger and feel energy moving in my palm. Actually, let's do something. Everybody hold your palm up. Have I done this before? See if you can feel that. How many of you could sense that? A few of you? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? You think that was just hypnotic suggestion, or do you think energy is actually being sent?
Energy's being sent.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. In the Sahaja Yoga meditation, they have you actually, they call it a bandhan, you know, you're actually doing that, your different energy centers, and I can really feel it, you know, I really can. So
Good. Yeah, Sarah.
I remember the first time I experienced that, it was this year, like 15 years ago. This guy was a Reiki, he was training to be Reiki certified. And I later got certified myself, but he was working on us for free. It was like, we were like, great. We had no idea what we were getting in for. And I remember he was working on my kidneys and my adrenals. And he was like, yeah, there's some deficiency here. Like, we've got to work on that. And I could feel the energy. And it was my first time really understanding that we were energy. And I was blown away. And I tried to find him afterward. It was like a friend of a friend, and I couldn't find him. And I was desperate for that experience again. And then I, later went on the path to, okay, well, I'll get certified myself. But just that feeling, like, he wasn't even touching me, it was just hovering of the hands, and I could feel the warmth and the tingling and the vibration and the shifting of things. It was amazing.
And I've studied Reiki, but more pranic healing, and like, they use their hands, and that's kind of where I discovered this thing, is because Master Code does that, but they use their hands to move energy through energy centers. But I'm like, why don't we just use someone's mind with hypnotic suggestion and have them imagine the energy? And this is, spinning and different things, but I think it's more powerful to have you go through your own nervous system, find those blocks, how you represent them to yourself, and shift them that way. I'm just more efficient at that than the energy healing modalities. So that's kind of what I prefer. But we all are all only energy and frequency. And we're like we could cut your hand off and like, you would still have a hand energetically. Like, there's still the outline of that, because there's this divine blueprint that's manifest from the field into the atoms that form you. Like, I was thinking about this the other day too. So people think, it's hard to change. But if you think about it, like, your brain is replaced, like completely replaced, like every month. The Genie in Your Genes book talks about it. Your brain is replaced all the time. Your entire body, like every cell in your body, is replaced every 7 years or sooner. Some parts of your body much faster. So the fact that you can stay the same at all is actually like a miracle. Like, I mean, we change slightly, like how we appear or over time, but it's actually a miracle that we can hold in place like we are and stay the same. And most of you, like, how incredible is it that people can have a problem and keep that same exact problem in their life that manifests over and over in different ways, even though every single cell in their body is completely changing. So it's only ever the mind that holds that thing in place. And it's when you realize that, like, it's a miracle that we even exist at all, and we can change anything in our world. So sorry, I'm getting on a little tangent here. Yes, Lynn.
Hi. I'd like to do something with the group. And
Great.
yourself. I don't think I've done it before with you, but and it's in relation to energy. I don't know whether you can see me. I've put video on, but I can't see myself.
We can see you.
Okay. So what I'd like everybody to do is to just bring your hands down in front of you. So palms facing upwards, just the width of your body, and just move them up and down, and just find and feel into them a sense of a place where they just feels the right place to rest. Move them and you will find it. And when you've done that, has everybody found that? Can everybody feel that there is a particular place? And then turn your hands to face each other and just gradually bring them together and feel, and I mean really feel into it and feel the energy between your hands now, and you can move them opposite and feel into that. And if you like, is anybody getting this?
Mm-hmm.
But if it, right, so now move them further apart, sense and feel into it, and this is your energy field. And you can bring it back together, and you can squeeze it, and you can bring it into yourself.
Love it. So Lynn, there's different techniques with that where you can imagine things that you want to manifest inside of a sphere like that and use different colors and yeah, but it's all in our imagination and it's all energy. So all right, I want to do one more process here. Lynn, thank you for sharing. That was cool. Feeling those electrons and the energy. So I want to do one more thing here. You guys tell me, is there something that you want to manifest, a new identity, something that you want to do that we can go into the field for? A feeling?
I want to be a
Confident.
homeowner by next year.
Okay. Homeowner. All right, what else? Yes, Blaine?
Hi. I can manifest things easy peasy and, thankfully. And for some reason, I seem to have a block, an abundance ceiling. Like I decide, I could do with some more money. So that I win things, right?
Excellent.
Very easily. Bang, bang, bang. It's great. But I would like to raise my abundance ceiling. So I'd like to clear my mortgage. And
Okay.
I absolutely know
Vegas.
what's going to happen. It's just, I just
Jasmine says Vegas.
I got a letter in, do you know about prize bonds and things?
No.
Okay, so you have a savings scheme, and every now and again you win stuff on it, right? So they write to you, and I'm always win. And even if I say, do you know what, I haven't won on the prize bonds in a while. Yeah, just go and win something. And I said, I just win enough to clear a mortgage, which is possible because you can win up to, I think, 100,000. And sure enough, I won a few items recently, and I won 600 recently. Do you know, that's so easy. And so I said, do you know now what I'll do? I'll just get a win on the prize bonds. So I went to my post box today, and there was the letter. Thank you. Right? And I said, this actually, so I was manifesting, blah, blah. This actually could be it because, I'm ready for it. Now, spoiler alert. It was €75, which is still, you have to work hard to get €75. So I'm curious, Nick, on your advice.
So
we're looking at, say, how much is it? I don't even know how much is left, but let's just say a nice cool 100,000 will do it.
Okay, so you want to get really clear on what's going to happen right after you get that check. Like what's the end state, right? Like that presupposes that the thing has happened.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? And then you go into the field and you feel it.
Yes.
And then you stop thinking about it. But then you persist in that practice until it manifests.
Yeah. That's what I do. But I'm curious because I pretty much am a master manifester. Like it's great.
I love that. So then it's just persisting and not worrying about it, not thinking about it, not even,
I can catch you. That's it exactly.
The attachment is the last, that's what keeps, most of us are, most of us are high achievers. We know what we want. We're like going after it. We're efforting, we're working hard. And it's this little attachment that holds us back. I don't know, was it Doreen? Someone was talking about like having a thought and it just showing up in your life. And generally we do that with things a lot of times that we don't really care about. Cause it's just like a thought comes up, you're like, oh, this would be kind of cool. And then you don't think about it at all. And then that thing shows up like almost instantly. And it's only because we just don't have attachment to those things. But it's the things that we have this like need for, because a lot of times those things, we feel like they're gonna make our identity whole. Like it's, you know, if I have this amount of money or this partner, like my identity, like I'm good, like I've made it, you know, and then I'll be happy. So that's like, it's too much importance. And so if you're just like this, you know, like if I can manifest $75, like it's whatever, you have to get to the point of like, it's whatever. Like, I don't even really care if I get it or not, because I'm so whole with who I am that I don't really, like, I don't need it. It'd be cool. That's when that, like, that stuff just starts coming.
To be as happy with it happening is not happening. And indeed that is, but part of the fun of it, I say, God, just for the crack, I'll clear my mortgage. Because people do it all the time. I mean, I'm in loads of groups and I've manifested a lot, jeepers creepers myself. I mean, yeah, I mean, the fact that, anyway.
Okay.
So therefore, so it's just kind of like for the fun of it, I'm choosing to clear the mortgage. Do you know what I'll do now?
I love it. I love it. All right. So I'll give some,
Can I just park the mortgage and instead just, you know what I mean? Will I just forget about the mortgage altogether and just...
all right. I'll put some suggestions in for you, Blaine.
Please.
All right. What else?
What do you mean? What else?
Doreen.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I still have some health stuff
Okay.
that I need to deal with.
Health. Absolutely. Natalia.
I want to manifest. I'm not that clear, but it's obviously financial abundance. There's one thing, like when you were talking about like when we are not even trying, how things happen. Over a year and a half ago, when I just got divorced, the last thing I wanted to talk about was work, because I didn't have the head to do marketing or anything. And I just landed 8 clients in 2 months, like high ticket clients, coming from absolutely nowhere. Not nowhere. They were word of mouth. This person talked about you with me and all that. I didn't put a post. I didn't write anything. Nothing. Another client was just in a gathering of a birthday. I told her I'm a hypnotist. She said, I've got anxiety. I said, let's get you in a call. She signed, and like that, and like that, and like that. And I remember that because I was in the anger, in the healthy anger that I thought it was a driver of, I can do it myself. I don't need a man in my life. Like, I can do it. But it was not, I can do it because I need to show someone. I remember being in this feeling this immense love for people that I think that I just got back a few weeks ago. Just like love, and walking through my testimonials and remembering why I do what I do, and just like stepping into the love. Like, I actually love doing what I do. I actually love helping people. I actually love helping people get out of the place where I was once. And then they were coming from absolutely nowhere. And then as I stopped doing marketing and stuff, obviously the rest of that time has been really scarce in terms of clients and income. So yeah, I have a number in mind, but my logical mind is like, oh, that's too much in such a little amount of time.
Okay, so let's not worry about the timeline then. Let's just worry about the amount. I don't want to say worry about it. That's probably not the right word, but just have in mind that amount. Absolutely. And the fact that you're a logical mind, like, that's what we're not getting rid of, but we're going to bypass that, because we don't know we don't know how it's going to show up. The idea for that will come to you. And I know you guys like some financial things are coming up, and I've still got like a notebook full of the outline for the financial abundance program I want to do with all of you. There was a few books and some structure I wanted to add to that, and I want to make a bunch of recordings to condition you as you fall asleep. And that's just going to take some thought. So trust me, I'm working on that. Where was I going with this?
Then we need to manifest you do it faster.
Yes.
Please.
All of you manifest me developing that program. Lynn said she's got to go. Bye, Lynn. All right, so that's a big thing. So, okay. So I talk about this quite a bit, but presuppositions are the language of manifestation. So if I say, how great do you feel? It presupposes that you feel great. And when I ask you that question, you'll think, how great do I feel? Oh, I guess I feel pretty great. So I use those a lot in hypnosis and when I teach, but when we use it for this, we want to go just a step past the end state. So the state where your mortgage is paid, what are you doing with the extra money? When you have that income, it's not just getting the income, it's what are you, like, how do you know you've got it? What are you doing that you would do with that income? When you've got the house that you want, Sarah, when you've moved from Canada, Barbara, you're traveling, like going just a step past the end state presupposes that the end state has happened. Does everybody get that? So when we go into this meditation, we'll go into the end, just a step past the end state that presupposes the thing you want. And all we're doing is we're just going to observe it. We're going to get out of our logical mind. There's no need to try to figure it out. Any thoughts of like, how am I going to do this? Those are the thoughts that have to completely dissolve. And all you have to do is tune into the 5 senses of your imagination, and I'll cue you to tune the frequency of your cells into that vibration. And as you tune into that vibration, you feel it, your energy field starts to stabilize into it. Now, you may go about the next few days and you're like, oh, I'm not connected with it anymore. So you go in and you meditate on it again. You tune back into it. And every few days, you may need to do that until it just becomes who you are. So you're taking unconditioned awareness and you're making it conditioned awareness. And then it's part of who you are. And then that thing, it doesn't usually just show up once, like it just continues to show up. Does everybody understand what I'm saying there? As long as you release the attachment, and you will, it's like a part of your life now. You're just that type of person. Sarah's yawning. We better hurry up and get this over with. All right, any questions?
I'm so relaxed, Nick.
That's
so
good.
relaxed. It's a testament to your ability. I'm so sorry.
And as you relax even deeper now, you may realize this process is about to completely change your life. All right, any last questions, statements, comments? All right, let's do it. Close your eyes. And we don't even have to go into hypnosis. You can just start to feel the energy field around your body. Become more aware of your body as waves of energy. Imagine those atoms and electrons just dissolving. Feeling that frequency that you swim in, that you live in, that informs your body. Become more aware. And become the observer of that body. That vehicle for your consciousness. And as you continue to relax your tongue, the muscles around your eyes, and even the hairs on your head, you can realize that your consciousness and your intentions create all of those experiences. And you can direct the movement of energy and frequency at the speed of thought. And as you feel yourself continue to dissolve into infinite space and infinite potential, continually letting go. Letting go of the personality, the thoughts, and any old attachments. Knowing that you are already whole and complete, and everything you need is here and now. And from this state, become aware of that thing that you want to experience. See it. Touch it. Hear it. There is nothing to do but observe and perceive with the 5 senses of your imagination. What's it like to walk through your new home? To have that mortgage paid off, to travel, to have a level of abundance. And notice that as you feel it, every cell, every molecule, every atom is tuning into the frequency of that experience. And as you continue to tune into the frequency of that experience, you may realize that you don't need that thing at all to feel good. You can feel complete, confident, and whole now. And as you realize that, you notice that you are in complete resonance with that outcome, with that experience, with no attachment or no need for it. But notice how much fun it would be to have. And continue to see it, to feel it, to hear it, to taste it, to smell it. And the more vividly and clearly you see it now, the stronger you feel it, don't you? Every protein, every DNA strand, every molecule of your being tunes into the frequency of this experience. Because all modern technology is really just copying the miracle that is you. Satellites, antennas, TVs, radio are no match for the frequency devices built in you. And once you're sure that experience, that frequency is locked into your cells, into your subconscious mind, just let it dissolve completely. Releasing any thought, any need, finding perfect peace and perfect wholeness right where you are. And as any thought of that dissolves completely in the field, bring your awareness into that incredible vehicle, the incredible antenna that you call your body. And become aware of the frequency in the moment. What does it feel like? How comfortable and safe and calm or enthusiastic or grateful do you feel right now? And as you feel that, you realize that nothing external to you is needed for you to feel good. You can feel good for no reason at all, other than you just imagine feeling good. And as you feel good in your fingers and your toes, you may notice they begin to wiggle. You may move, bringing your awareness back into the cells, the molecules of your body, feeling your skin, feeling back into this moment with no attachment, perfect expectation, and perfect presence. And as you come all the way back, memorizing that feeling, knowing that it will carry with you and continue to build for the next days, weeks, and months. And that thing that you had envisioned manifests in your life when you least expect it. And knowing that the field and your consciousness have perfect control over the situation, you can forget about it entirely and release it. And as you release it, your eyes will open. You'll come back to our Zoom call feeling absolutely incredible, rested, calm, and confident. Well, we went a little long. We can start wrapping up here, but any comments would be great, and then we'll call it a night. How did everyone do on that one? Doreen, you're gonna go to bed? Or did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just felt lots of stuff happening in my body. There's lots of tingling, which is of course my last name, so that's pretty cool. But also heat and pulsing. It was just like a whole range of sensations happening. So that was pretty cool.
Good. And it may continue. And those are like, that's literally your nervous system changing, that's cells burning off toxins. I mean, it's your DNA activating in different ways. I mean, there could be a number of things happening there, and it may continue, and you may feel even better over the next few days. Thanks for sharing. Blaine?
Well, thank you very much.
That was good?
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So relaxing.
Delane, nice to have you. Good. Good. But Diana?
I found it really invigorating, not relaxing. And I was vibrating and out of my body, and all the thoughts went, and then I came back to my body, but the thoughts didn't. And then I was resonating all the time. It was absolutely incredible. I'm a healer anyway, and I know I can gather energy, but this was pretty phenomenal. Thank you
Good.
very much.
It's fun to work with all of you because you all have experience and you know what this is like and you know what you're doing, and so you get to have like the training wheels are off essentially. You just go there quickly and intuitively and you know what you're doing. So that's great. Thanks for sharing,
Well,
Diana.
thank you.
Blaine, did you have another comment?
Yeah, I just want to say, can we set the intention to send some of that beautiful energy to our wonderful friend Freddie?
Yes, let's do that. And yeah, let me get any comments. If you want to take off, you can take off and we'll do a quick, we'll step into the quantum field for Freddie. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, Natalia.
Hello. I just wanted to share when you said, which is the only part that I remember now, just realize that all you need is with you here and now, and you don't need anything else than what you have already inside. I had a thought that that thing that I have inside is the certainty that I have that everyone have it in them, and that's all I need for helping others. There's nothing special about me that I see and that I'm certain that everyone else has it.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
That was my resort. Like, yeah, that's what the thing that popped up when you said what you need is already with you. And I'm like, is this fact that I see that everyone else has it.
I did suggest that you could completely forget everything, so maybe that was probably why you didn't remember.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I
And
don't
it's
remember
gone.
anything. Only that.
That's so good. You don't have to be confident, like you just have to be confident that you can get the confidence, right? And I think, yeah, and everybody has that. All they have, like the power of the imagination, and we just guide people's focus to have these experiences, and everything that they've created is with their imagination anyway. So they've got the tools. I love that. I love that.
Thank
All right,
you.
and you're welcome. Anyone else before we do a little process? All right. So let's set an intention. Freddie as healed and doing well and cracking jokes and feeling incredible. And let's start with our hands on our hearts here. And see Freddie's face and hear his voice and his laugh. And hold him in your heart. And imagine his heart recovering quickly, beating strongly. All of the cells, all of the molecules, quickly getting rid of any inflammation or discomfort. The muscles of that pump, which creates a vortex of energy, operating efficiently and powerfully. And see and feel his heart expanding, healing, pumping blood, oxygen, nutrients through his body. And imagine hearing his voice and saying how quickly he recovered, how incredible he feels, and how grateful he is to feel reborn. and see him 10, 20, 30 years from now, still helping people, inspiring people, writing books, and continuing to build his legacy, and feel grateful for everything we've learned, all the experiences we've shared. And notice how you feel, how directing that energy and intention has made you feel. And release those intentions into the quantum field, the field of infinite potential and awareness. Coming back into yourself. Noticing a sense of peace and calm and joy. Carmen S., how is Freddie? He's well recovering, and now recovering even faster with us. So it's going to get easier and quicker as the days go on. Yeah. Anyway, it was lovely seeing all of you.
But has to remember, he has to also relax. His son has requested that. So if you're sending energy and healing to him, he has to remember to relax.
That's
Please.
right. Relax, 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 relax. All right, everybody. That was a wonderful call. Lovely seeing all of you. You know, I think one of these weeks I would run out of topics, but for some reason you all inspire me. Just like new stuff keeps coming. So
You're busy with the money stuff anyway.
that's right. Jasmine is manifesting that. I want to do it like in one shot and like have it everything in place. So
We
I don't know,
can't
maybe
do
it
it
doesn't-
all in one shot anyway, so
What-
get over your perfectionism.
That's true. Well, I've still got other topics to get over. So maybe, yeah, we'll, I'll bump that up to the front of the queue. How's that?
Nick, are you gonna, I know you've got your like many different fires going, but are you gonna be doing any events or anything anytime in the near future?
Well, it depends on how you define near.
I don't know.
Let's do a little meta model on this. So it depends on your definition of near. I mean, the events is like really all I want to do. There's a few things. I've got 3 more properties that are on the verge of selling. I'm kind of launching that Soil Saviors company, and that's getting close to like taking off. And then a few little personal things to wrap up. But events is really all I want to do. But I want to have my podcast and some things going as marketing and ads running,
Yeah.
you know, for that. So yes,
Too many irons in the fire, Nick.
I'm trying to take irons out of the fire, but I know.
We want more irons in the spring.
I have like 6 events in my mind so one of them is the Resonance event, which I've already done, which is, you guys would love that. 'Cause it's like this, but for 4 days, completely stacked with music and light. Like it's super fun. And then I want to do an abundance, like what I want to take you through. I want to do that as a live event. I want to do a Captivate speaker training. So some of that's like the storytelling stuff, but it's also the body language, tonality, vocal control, hypnosis for charisma, just being like a really powerful, charismatic presence, especially on stage, and selling. I want to have a course or an event called Scientific Prayer, which kind of organizes some of this stuff in a different way. What else? I don't know. I've got a few. There's no shortage of ideas. Like
I just want to meet, like, I met Dennis Paul. He's actually presenting at HypnoThoughts this year, and he's local, and we met in person. He was the first hypnotist that I got to meet in person, and I just want to meet more hypnotists in person because the you know, that in-person energy is so special.
I know.
So I'm dying for that.
And what happens at an event, and this is why like I really want events to be the core of my business model, is because you get oxytocin and you get dopamine and you get endorphins, and like that feels good and that sounds great. But the other thing it does is it puts the raw material in your brain to lay down new myelin pathways. And so like this is really cool for us to do. But if I can flood your brain for 4 days in a row for 12 hours a day with like great, incredible feelings, like you're gonna learn so much quicker, and you can create a new identity and release old ones like at an even more incredible pace. And you build a closer network, and yeah, it's just for all the reasons live events are the thing. So how many of you are going to HypnoThoughts this year?
Maybe.
Jasmine's debating. Blaine's going. Doreen, did you say you were? Somebody said me.
Going where?
HypnoThoughts?
It's in Las Vegas in July.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Are you presenting this year, Nick?
I didn't apply to, just because it's like, it's a big open loop. Like having that on the calendar, you think about it all year, and then like it just takes up a lot of mental space. I may go, I may not. I'm with you, Jasmine, on that one.
Yeah, I might go Mid-America this year, so that's why I'm debating.
Is that St. Louis or Chicago?
Chicago,
Okay. When's that?
October.
Okay, let me know. That's only like 2 hours for me.
What is that, Jasmine?
Mid-America, like Rich and Joe Gazi took it over from Richard Nongard, and they make it now bigger than it was before. So yeah, let's see what it's like. But yeah.
You said Rich Guzzi?
At least they promote it at the moment. They just announced it over email that they organize it now.
Who else?
His wife too.
Oh, Joanna. Oh yeah. I like Rich. I'm thinking about doing his training in August. But we'll see.
But this is in October, and
Okay.
then of course the UK one you all need to come to in November. So
Oh. Okay.
Sounds fun.
Could we put the names of those in the chat?
yeah, I put it in chat.
Thanks.
We could probably just put a calendar on the
Which
Ministry
one
of
is the one
Mind
in the
group
UK
too.
in November?
What's that, Natalia?
Which one is the one in the UK in November? For me, it's easier to go to the UK than to the US. For me, it's easier to get a visa for the UK than from the US. I don't have a US visa. I let it run out and never renew it. And it's a little bit of a nightmare for Colombians.
You're in Saudi Arabia or Colombia now?
I'm neither. I live in Abu Dhabi.
Abu
I don't
Dhabi,
live in
okay.
Saudi. Thank God. No hard feelings, but no. I'm in Abu Dhabi. I came back to Abu Dhabi 3 weeks ago.
Okay. So you're late there or early?
Yeah, it's 1 in the morning.
Right.
It's 2 a.m.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Well, it's worth it.
Time is
They-
in your imagination anyway, right?
Yeah. I haven't been able to sleep early since I came back anyway, so I might as well take advantage.
All right. Well, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go eat something. And it's been beautiful spending time together. And we'll see you next week. Where I'll.
Thank you, Nick.
My
Happy
pleasure.
Easter, everybody.
Happy
Thank you so much.
Easter.
See you next week.
Thank
Hopefully we'll
you.
have a link.
Happy Easter. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear
Happy
about all your
Easter.
wins and manifestations.
Bye.
Bye.